Everyone to brand new Max Talks box office here on Max Talks Movies. My name is Max Dinnerberg. Today I'm breaking down the overall box office numbers for this past weekend, which were November the 14th to the 16th, 2025. We'll look at the overall numbers worldwide and domestic so far for 2025. Preview the upcoming movies hitting theaters this weekend, and also previewing my upcoming videos that will be hitting the channel as well. So welcome back to Max Talks Box Office here on Max Talks Movies. If you're new, guys, to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and ring that bell for notifications. I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, added theater reactions, movie franchise rankings, this show every single week, as well as now every Wednesday awards season video. So please, if you like any one of those things, subscribe, ring the bell. We're trying to get to 400 subscribers by the end of 2025. Let's get there by hitting that subscribe button. Comment down below. What are your thoughts on the box office, and what did you see this past weekend? What are your upcoming plans to see in theaters this weekend? And also, guys, please hit that thumbs up button. So a big show here to talk about today. So let's get into it right away. Starting in first place this past weekend from November 14th to the 16th is just domestically, which is US and Canada. And Now You See Me, Now You Don't. The third Now You See Me film opened to number one and made $21 million in its opening weekend. It is the lowest opening of the franchise, but to be fair, it only loses out to the second film by $1 million. What I meant to say with the nine there was that Now You See Me 2 came out 9 years now. Now, going into this weekend, The Running Man people thought was favored to become the number one movie of the weekend, but Now You See Me quietly did its work. And this is not like an unbelievable money-making franchise, but these movies are really honestly quite cheap to make. Each of these movies have around $90 million is the budget. For the last two movies, the first film had a budget of $75 million. And it's amazing because the ensemble for these movies are great, but it's a full $20 million cheaper than Running Man, which is a big difference. And if you look at the history of the Now You See Me franchise, the first film was the biggest opening, which was a $29 million opening without adjusting for inflation back in 2013. The movie had a $75 million budget. It got to 117 domestic and 342 for its overall worldwide money, which again is a huge moneymaker. The second movie, which came out in 2016, same budget as this one at 90, opened at 22 million, so $1 million better than this movie. It got to 65 million overall domestic, but its worldwide numbers were $328 million. So, which is a fascinating number, because it really is around 200 million more this movie has made international than domestic. Now, the numbers this weekend were $21 million opening weekend, and right now it's made 24 million internationally. So the number is kind of even, which means this probably will be the least successful of the three Now You See Me movies. But again, this is not a super expensive movie. So we'll see. Again, only one movie's made over 100 million domestic, and both films got around 330, 345 worldwide. So we'll continue to track Now You See Me, but I'm not really surprised. Some people are like shocked that this movie did well. When people want to go to the movies, they just want to have, honestly, at this type of year, events, have a good time, know you're going to enjoy yourself in the theater. And Now You See Me, Now You Don't is a franchise that delivers what most people want out of these movies, a good time in the theater. So Now You See Me, Now You Don't comes in at number one. The big disappointment this weekend was The Running Man from Paramount. Also, sorry, Now You See Me 3 is from Lionsgate. The Running Man opened to $16.4 million. That is a really bad opening for this movie. The budget is $110 million. That's before advertising. And we have to just check reality right now, is that we really don't have a true next big movie star at this point. I think Timothée Chalamet is easily the best chance. I think he's the best option out of this young crop of actors. His movies have made a lot of money, so I'd say he's kind of a movie star. But we're trying to find other potential movie stars in his generation, if that's Glenn Powell, if that's Austin Butler, if that's Jacob Elordi, really everyone in that mix. And Glenn Powell had a lot of heat after Top Gun Maverick. He had that Hulu show, Chad Powers. He has done Hitman, which is a moderate success on Netflix. He's done some things over the last couple of years for sure. But this was his first big role, leading star for a major Hollywood movie in theaters. You had Tom Cruise helping promote the movie with Glenn Powell, giving his vote of confidence. But we're just not at that point to just pronounce Glenn Powell this easy to go movie star from a business perspective. When I'm doing this show, guys, I'm not here to give my opinion. Do I think Glenn Powell from a but when I watched Glenn Powell, I did not like this movie. Do I think from an acting perspective, could it be a movie star? Of course. I think he has the chops to feel like a main guy in Hollywood for the next however long he wants to act. But from a business perspective, he just isn't moving, didn't move tickets for this movie. This movie not even having a $20 million opening is bad for Paramount. Josh Brolin and Coleman Domingo were definitely marketed a lot, but they're, again, guys who don't sell movie tickets as well, but they're not the sell for this movie. Glenn Powell is the sell for this movie, as is Edgar Wright. But I think everyone realizes outside of really Baby Driver, most of his movies are not big theatrical box office successes. Even like his movie a couple years ago, Last Night in Soho, obviously was not his last one, which is kind of a weird release date because it came out in kind of in the middle of the pandemic, so not really gonna count that. But like Scott Pilgrim, everyone loves that movie now, was not a huge hit back when that movie came out. His Simon Pegg movies were very, and Nick Frost were very much niche movies, not these global success stories. So I think Edgar Wright has a bit of a problem at the box office, and Glenn Powell has now become someone who again, Austin Butler had a movie opening earlier this year, did not do very well. Now, this movie opened much bigger, but this is more of a crowd pleasing action movie than Austin Butler's movie that he was in earlier this year, Caught Stealing. We'll see if Timothy Chalamet can get Marty Supreme on Christmas Day to a big opening, especially for an awards movie, would be a huge credit to him. So that's where we're at with Glenn Powell. I think this guy obviously has potential to be a movie star, but so many people who just love him want to crown him today a huge movie star. We just can't do that from a business perspective. Predator Badlands is in third place. It did drop 68% in its second weekend. 12.7 million, 66 million domestic. That is a huge drop for Predator Badlands, closing in on basically 70% drop. Now again, Predator Badlands is still going to be for Fox, and obviously that's Disney as well, is still going to be a very good success. This franchise will continue on. These movies are not made very expensive, and Predator Badlands is on pace to be one of, if not the most successful Predator film financially of all time. So even with this huge drop, I still think things are good for Predator Badlands, but I think it ran into two movies that have very similar demographics to Predator Badlands. Action movies, event-like action movies. So it made sense Predator dropped, I would say this much, because the other two films, again, correlate the same fan bases. But I still would have liked a lesser drop than basically a 70% drop. But again, I think Predator Badlands is still a very successful film. It's the first for a lot of statistics for the franchise. I think I will keep Trachtenberg just good continuing this franchise. Regretting You is at number 4. It's in its fourth weekend, 44% drop, 3.7 million, 44.6. Again, this movie is not breaking the doors down, but it is continually hanging in the top 5 of very good drops. But as I say that, again, the movie only opened to like $13 million. So even with these really good drops, it's only making $3 million a weekend. So that's not huge box office success, but it's definitely hanging around the headlines, hanging around the top 5, which also helps Mason Thames out, who his movie is also number 5 as well. Black Phone 2, it's in its 5th weekend, dropping 49%, 2.6 million, 74 million overall domestically. Again, is this as big of a success as the first one? No, but it's hanging around the top 5 as with having a lot of horror films out since Black Phone came out, which has helped its sustainability in the top 5. Looking at right here, the top 10 movies of the year so far domestically. Minecraft at 1, Lilo and Stitch at 2, Superman 3, Jurassic World at 4, Sinners at 5, Fantastic Four 6, How to Train Your Dragon 7, Captain America 8, Mission Impossible 9, Thunderbolts at 10. We have not seen any changes to this list for a very long time. I think this will finally change when I talk to you guys next week here on the channel. And I'll get into why that's the case in a bit. Worldwide numbers, Lilo and Stitch, still the only American film to gross $1 billion this year. Will that change by the time I talk to you at the end of this year? Minecraft is at 3, Jurassic World at 4, Demon Slayer 5, How to Train Your Dragon at 6, F1 at 7, Superman 8, Mission Impossible 9, Fantastic Four First Steps is at 10. So let's get into one of the most important for a lot of people box office weekends of the season, or again, not the season, of the year 2025, because Wicked for Good is hitting theaters on Friday. Supposedly for Fandango, it was one of the biggest, if not the biggest, pre-sale for a PG movie of all time. So we'll see what that means for Wicked for Good, at least for this year. Sorry, I had the biggest pre-sales for a PG movie this year. We'll see what that leads to, because obviously Minecraft was a PG movie. It came out earlier this year. Opened to 162 million domestic. Now that is the biggest opening of the year here in the United States. Now it did not get to $1 billion, but got to 950 overall worldwide. Wicked for Good, sorry, my Fandango stats, not for all time, just for this year. Wicked 1, which came out last year, opened to 112 domestically, and it got to 750 worldwide. So the question is, can Wicked for Good, which feels like it has so much momentum at the moment after the first movie, can it do better? Now, I guess on a negative level, the reviews have not been as glowing from critics. The early critic scores are around like a 72, 73% for Rotten Tomatoes. The audience score, though, is very strong for Wicked on Rotten Tomatoes. If you look back at the first movie, that RT score is at 88%. So for critics, it's definitely a bit of a drop off for Rotten Tomatoes. Again, Rotten Tomatoes is not, as I say, gospel. But we'll see if people are indeed disappointed by this movie. Will that mean less rewatchability in theaters? But who knows? Wicked for Good, I think, has the potential to be the biggest opening of the year domestic. As I said, it's 162 is the number to be, which is for Minecraft. And it needs to be, it's 750 to improve, and we will see. Wicked for Good comes out on Friday. Other movies hitting theaters this weekend: Sisu 2, Road to Revenge, underrated action flick a couple years ago. 2 years ago. So 3 years ago, excuse me. Let's see if Sisu can get back on the good ways. And then in limited release, an awards movie, Rental Family, starring Brendan Fraser, is also hitting theaters this weekend. Tons of videos, guys, hitting the channel this week. Yesterday, you got my out of theater reaction and review for Running Man. Tomorrow, you'll be getting my awards video of the week. I'll be giving you my best picture predictions. What movies right now feel like locks? What movies feel like they should get in but aren't totally locked? And then movies that are on the bubble. I'm going to organize it like that for you guys. Also tomorrow, I am going to a early screening for Rental Family. So I'll have an out of theater reaction for Rental Family late tomorrow night. And then Thursday, I'll have the full review for Rental Family. Also on Thursday night, I am also going to another advanced screening of The Testament of Anne Lee. That movie's coming out on Christmas, but I'm getting a chance to see it a full month early. So I'll have an out-of-theater reaction on Thursday night for Testament of Anne Lee, and then a full review for the movie Friday or Saturday. And then Friday, I'll have an out-of-theater reaction and review for Wicked for Good. And then back here, guys, on Monday for another box office breakdown show.